Okay.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Reconnecting Youth with Ayesha. This is your host, Ayesha Ali, and today our guest has been rocking and rolling through real estate and being an attorney. Thank you, Mr. Daud, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, before we start, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
I'm a real estate broker, an attorney in Northern Virginia area. I have my own brokerage, my own law firm, basically anything real estate related. That's what I do.
So, let's back up a little bit. So, when I was looking through your profile, and you didn't. So for grad school you went to. You definitely have a law degree, but for your undergrad you majored in sociology.
Correct.
So what sparked your interest in sociology? Because they're two completely different things.
Sociology only because law school didn't want a particular major, so I just picked something that I thought was interesting, and sociology was very interesting because you look at sort of like the social realities of today, and you see all these invisible sort of quote unquote forces that dictate our lives, and how stuff like location can influence somebody's behavior and their thinking. And I used that for real estate. We talked a lot about gentrification, and my capstone sort of paper was about gentrification in Arlington, and the stuff that we said in that paper actually is becoming true today. So that was very interesting. I mean, I'm not sure if gentrification is a good thing or a bad thing. People have their own opinions.
Okay. So, well, you said that you majored in sociology because grad school didn't really have like a specific. So, did you always know that you wanted to go into law school? I mean, you wanted to be like a law student, like you wanted to be an attorney. Yeah,
I think with Desi parents, that's sort of like the prized, one of the prized professions, part of it, and then part of it was also.
So, like, how did you decide? I mean, because they're like, I mean, like how you were like, oh, the Desi parents, but there's also doctor, engineer. I know I wanted to be a lawyer for a really long time until senior year, but I'm like, no, I want to be a journalist now. But so what specific, well, like what's still like?
Well, so my father's an attorney, my brother's an attorney, and they always talked about how great that was, and I was like, okay, it just seemed kind of a natural, but I'm so grateful that I did go there, because I think just learning about the law and the reasoning behind various laws and why things are the way they are today, was super fascinating.
So, like, for someone like the younger generation, someone who's like in high school or like is graduating high school, so like, and they're confused, like, because I know so many people are confused, and you don't really have to know your major technically until your junior year of college. That's when you have to like declare it. So, like, what's an advice you'd give them, or like, what's something that helped you that I mean, you knew, but like for someone, let's say for someone who doesn't know, or they're confused because they're like, there's so many majors. How do I know this is what I really want to do?
Well, yeah, that's tough, right? So I was grateful that I found something that I just liked right there and then, but I think you should try different things. Actually, no, before sociology, before I was about to get into a history major, so that was random.
I mean, I know a lot of law, like if you're pursuing law, they tend to major in history because it sort of in a way goes hand in hand.
I guess, hand in hand, but in law, for me, it was kind of like that, but I think in terms of picking something, then I think you just try different things. Various different things. You have time to pick different things, especially nowadays with technology. It's not so much you have to be done with school in 4 years and do this or that. So I guess that would be my advice.
So like really try different things.
Yeah, and try different things.
Okay. Did you ever like when you were like, okay, I want to be a law student, I want to like eventually go into law and stuff, did you like intern at a firm, or did you work with a lawyer?
Intern at various firms doing real estate contracts, that nature, not trial as much, but various firms.
Do you think that sort of like gave you like a more direct sense of direction and like sort of made like help you decide that, you know, this is what I want to do? Like, I know, like now getting that hands-on experience sort of like, we're like, okay, now I'm doing this and I get it, now I can see myself doing this.
Did that help? Because it's more hands-on. You see, like, this is what you can be doing for the rest, maybe not the rest of your life, but, you know, something that
you can see, that's something you...
doing, and that sort of validated, this is what I want to do.
So, then why real estate? Because I mean, you can say sort of technically they go together in a way, but like they're still different. So like so undergraduate sociology, then law school. What did you do for your master's?
No, it wasn't. So it was just undergrad.
So it was just like undergrad, okay.
To law school.
And then law school, and then why real estate? Like,
real estate.
How did that happen?
Well, real estate I've been doing since I was 19. So my father was a real estate broker as well, and then I just saw him do.
So he was both as well.
Correct. He was both, and I guess I wanted to be like my father in various different ways. And I saw him doing it, and I'm really grateful that when I started working with him, trying out real estate. Well, I first tried to be a musician, right? Tried to be like a rock and roll band. Tried to make that. That didn't work out. But then I tried real estate, and I'm grateful that I found something that I'm very passionate about that quickly. I just fell in love with it. I love everything about real estate, architecture. It was mostly investments at first. It was like a great hobby, like looking at market studies, seeing which is the neighborhood that's going to pop up now.
Then why didn't you, I'm sorry to cut you, why didn't you choose to major in economics or something that?
Because that sounds boring, right? But real estate sounds fun. And real estate just fun. You meet people all the time. But real estate, I just found a weird hobby in just houses. Select houses, seeing this is what's going to pop. And then it was successful for me, and then I used that passion, that hobby, on to how to help other people out. So other clients, find them the right house and see where can I position them so they get that financial wealth that you create. I think that's the most rewarding thing about real estate. You take that passion that you have about it, and then you help other people, you guide other people towards financial wealth. And that's the most rewarding calls that you get.
So your passion was real estate, but your career choice that you wanted to pursue was law. And so
both hand in hand. I think they go hand in hand.
I mean, now
I can benefit, you give a lot of value to your clients by just because you have that legal background. You can kind of jump through a lot of hoops quicker, and just with the knowledge that you have. But I don't know, I think they go hand in hand. I think especially nowadays, you can still do so many different things. You can do real estate, you can do law, maybe still pursue my music career, right? But I think you can do various things, and I never thought of it as one or the other. Just
do you think your law degree has helped you with your real estate, being a real estate agent?
Immensely, yeah. I think you're able to pass on that knowledge. You know, a lot of times you just get free legal advice just because you're working through a lot of issues.
So you're a prime example of someone who's doing, who has two different careers. I mean, they do go hand in together, but someone who is currently pursuing two careers. So for someone who's like, oh, I like this too, but I also want to do this. So do you think they can, if they actually stay focused and get...
Yeah, or just have that passion.
Is it possible? A lot of people, they're asking counselors, or parents, or they come for advice. People always tell you, stick with one thing, do one thing. Make sure you have your focus on one thing instead of just 2-3 different things.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible. I think depends on, everybody's different. I think you just have passion. For me, law and real estate are essentially hobbies. They're not. I don't feel like I'm working, quote unquote. Right? Yeah. It's just fun for me. And if I wasn't working in real estate, I'm sure my free time would just be looking at houses and stuff like that. Yeah. I like it, and I've just been blessed that I found something that when I wake up at 6 a.m., I'm ready to just start at it. Yeah. So I think you can have multiple passions and just pursue it, and luckily these both pay nicely, so that's nice to pick something you like.
Yeah, So can you describe role of a real estate agent as well as an attorney for people who may not know, especially a real estate agent, because a lot of people are still confused.
Actually, with real estate, I don't think there's actually that big of a difference in particularly real estate and an attorney, because as an attorney, you're giving advice on real estate as well. Yeah. And then as an agent, you're essentially doing the same thing. You're guiding someone to make the right financial choice, which is the house that you get that's going to have the best ROI for them and their family, and what's going to make that financial wealth for them. So I think they both kind of go, I don't know, I think they go hand in hand. It's kind of hard for me. I think because done it for so long that it just, for me, it's the same. As an attorney, I'm giving them the same advice that I would have given them as an attorney when I was an agent. I mean, can't give legal advice as an agent, but luckily for me, I'm both, so it just kind of overlaps.
So how do you approach a client when a client comes to you and they're like, oh, we want to either buy a house or sell a house? What's your game plan? How do you go about it?
They say not to get personal with don't make any deals get personal, but I put myself in their position a little bit. I would do exactly what I would do, and I want to guide them as if I was them. So that's why I get so invested in each deal that I'm trying to, as if I'm buying this house or I'm selling this house. But at the same time, it's a balance. If the deal doesn't fall through, there's so many ways it could fall through, that I'm able to just walk away and it's okay if the deal falls apart. But that's how I kind of approach it. And then everybody's so different. There's so many unique different ways. Today I had 2 clients. One client did not want a single family house at all because he didn't want maintenance, but the other one just absolutely wanted a single family. So every person's different. So you have to go from there.
Are there certain steps when you're taught that you were taught as a real estate agent that it's these are the guidelines you follow when the client comes to you? I mean, obviously they're different when someone's trying to sell or buy a house, because there's 2 different things, but what are some staple things that are a real estate agent follows?
I think every deal is different, but I think the only staple thing is you listen to your client, see what they want, and then work around getting them as close as you can to their goal. everybody has different end games. Some people just want to get rid of a house, or some people want top dollar. I don't know. Just it goes down. There's no one step. I mean, there's paperwork a lot.
Yeah.
But besides that, you just listen to what they want and try to get that goal for them, or realize that goal.
And how is it different for when you're like you are putting on that hat of being an attorney? Like, how's the whole game plan different?
Same thing. They tell you a bunch of stuff. Some stuff is realistic. Some stuff is not, and then you guide them with your skill set to get them there.
Stay tuned because we're going to talk more about real estate and attorney with Mr. Daud right here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
अब आपका होगा अपना घर, सपना घर।
Your dreams can come true. SAI Mortgage is key for you.
अपना घर खरीदने और रीफाइनेंस करवाने के लिए SAI Mortgage से राब्ता करें।
Don't make a move without SAI.
Welcome back to Reconnecting Youth with Ayesha. We were in conversation with Mr. Daud before we took our break. We talked about how he got into the career of real estate and how he pursued his law degree. Now we're going to talk about like how did he get through this entire process. So like what are some challenges or obstacles that you encountered during your way? They could be academic or like just personal.
For the real estate, I think the biggest obstacles are how do you retain clients, how do you get clients, retain clients. But I think for that, you just put your head down, just keep working, giving value to clients, one client at a time. That leads to somebody else, and then doing what's necessary. Especially nowadays, it's like social media marketing, stuff like that. So just being on top of your game. I think, but it's like a slow sort of reward that you see after you put in work. I've been doing this, like I said, like almost 10 years. So, but I think for the past 8 years, it hasn't been the deals that I'm getting now, right? So after 8 years of work, now I'm starting to get deals that are like, oh my God, that's good.
Do you think that has to? My next question is going to go hand in what you just said. Do you think experience makes it better? And like, can it also be like a challenge? So like when you're someone who's like new in the real estate business, they just enter, but there's so many people who have already been settled. Like for someone who's entering now compared to you have so many experience. Do you think like how do you make sure that you can stay in the business and not like get
constantly learning about the new trends, constantly staying up on what's going on in real estate, seeing what works, what doesn't work, constantly just educating yourself. I think you can't stop just because you can't just rely on your success, bring past referrals and stuff like that. But I think you have to constantly keep learning and see what works.
Do you think social media has made it easier? Because I know it has helped a lot of different professions.
I think so. You reach more people. The last, I think, 3 deals that I did were all just from my Instagram stories. People were signing back like, okay, we want to buy a house. So I'm like, okay, that's great. And then go from there. I think it's still wide open on social media, even though there's like so many agents in this area. But I think like about 20% of the agents in this area are actually doing work, actually know what they're doing, actually giving value to their clients. And so that's why I think those 20% are doing it on social media. They're going to dominate just because just know what they're doing. Okay,
so what keeps you motivated? Like when you get up in the morning, how do you know what keeps you motivated and like stay focused to like, okay, I want to do this. I still want to continue doing this.
Correct. I think that's like a threefold. I think first, I think I'm a little hot wired just for motivation. I think again, Desi parents are great. They're always on your back and making sure you do well. So that's that pressure. I think that's part of it. And second of it, I think it's just understanding you're not going to live forever. You only have limited time on earth. And so you just want to do all the cool things you want to do, accomplish all the things you want to do. And that kind of keeps you going. And then at the same time, being selfish with that too. You know you have limited time here. So be selfish and do what you just want to do, not make anybody else happy. So that part of it. And the third part, just like gratitude. I'm just really grateful for a lot of things that have happened. And, you know, a lot of my success isn't just me doing it. You know, it's a lot of my upbringing. My father was a huge influence. Friends and family all have played a part in your success. And I think you honestly owe it to them. And just that, just super grateful. You know, business is good. And at the same time, as good as business is good, something could, you know, happen in your personal life, and all of a sudden you don't care about business, right? So a lot of gratitude. I think just perspective on life that kind of keeps you going. And obviously, ultimately, I like what I'm doing. Real estate's a lot
And
of
that's
fun.
important,
Yeah,
yeah.
the passion is fun. I'm
Yeah.
lucky that I found it at such a young age. I fell in love with real estate at like 19, 18, and I just kind of ran with it.
Oh yeah, and since you were saying that you started at a really young age, which is the age of 19, so do you see was social media still a big part of the real estate business, or like was it still?
Then?
Yeah.
Um,
And how do you see the
no,
difference?
back then, people were saying it's not going to be anything. So it's kind of crazy
Yeah.
how it dominates
different, yeah.
everything now. But back then, no. Back then, I don't think it was starting to though. And
yeah.
people who were already doing it
Yeah,
then.
this past
were
years
very
has like a
successful.
sudden rise in
Yeah.
with everything everyone's having. like-
Everybody,
yeah.
and then like Gary Vee. I'm sure
Yeah,
Gary Vee,
yeah.
he probably makes a lot more,
Yeah.
makes things a lot more cooler. I think a lot more people are more hyped about it.
And how do you stay focused? How do you not get like distracted? It's like it's hard when you have like so much competition where it's like how do you keep your head in the game and not worry about others and how not let it get to like stress you and like so you're just like okay I just have to keep doing my job and not worry about what others are doing.
Correct. Yeah, that's hard, right? You always think about, oh, what's that guy doing? Why
Yeah.
has he got that deal?
Yeah.
How did he get that deal?
Yeah.
So you kind of think about that, but at the same time, just probably not healthy, but drown myself into work. I just keep working. And then with real estate, at least, it's fun. So it's actually
Yeah.
fun meeting people, giving them updates, seeing houses together. Like today, I was sipping coffee and just showing houses. I can't believe I get paid for that, right?
Yeah.
You open a house and you're just
Yeah.
going around showing houses, and it's fun for me. And then on the legal side, I've just been so fascinated by the law. So it's fun learning about it. And more you learn about it, you pass that on to your clients. So I think that's how you sort of stay without the stress, because I'd be doing that stuff anyways. I think I'd be, if I wasn't a lawyer, I'd be reading about the law. If I wasn't in real estate, I'd be looking at houses. So it's just.
So
I'm
you're
happy-
really
yeah.
passionate
Yeah, I'm
about
really passionate.
what you do,
That
so
wasn't
that's
obvious,
something
yeah.
that keeps you focused.
Yeah.
That's nice. So
Yeah.
what's an advice for someone who wants to be an attorney or get into the real estate business? Like, what
Yeah.
should they do? Like, either whether they're in high school or let's say they're starting college now.
Well, for real estate, you got to expect that you're not going to make money your first year or two. It's really
Yeah.
difficult. I mean, there's so many agents here, but if you continuously just give value to your clients, continuously learn, and especially your first year, you should team up with someone who is experienced, because you're dealing with a big asset. If somebody's buying or selling a house, it's not a joke, and you don't want to just be faking it, right? Team up with somebody who knows what they're doing, and then sort of go through the process on that. I don't think it's rare somebody makes a lot of money the first year of real estate. But if you really want to make it, you just got to keep working. You got to keep seeing what the trends are, social media, and just constantly giving value. And then I think you'll be okay after a couple of years. I think you start getting that clientele, you get your little niche of people that come to you. And for law, you really shouldn't know, like law if you want to do law.
Yeah,
it's very
'cause
difficult.
yeah,
For me, I knew when I went to law
How do
school.
how can someone know that they
Law is a
want to
thing.
be an attorney or like they want to be
But
a real
that-
estate agent?
I guess part of it, you could intern and see this is the life that you want, right? But part of it, you have to just go into law school. I think our first semester, we had a good number of people that just dropped out. They were just like, we don't want to do this. It's not easy to know until you actually do it.
So you
Definitely.
you're saying that you
Yeah.
need like either the hands-on experience, you gotta know, like you gotta experience it somehow, one way
Yeah.
or the other. Either like go to get a degree or like get the hands-on experience. Just
Correct.
know like this is what I want to do.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't know until you actually sit in the law school classroom, and then you
And then, yeah.
realize this is what I want to do for the next 3 years of my life. It's very difficult. It's a lot of reading.
Yeah. So I mean that's something that a lot of people have told me that it's like if you want to be a lawyer, you should know how to read.
Yeah,
I mean not
it's a lot of reading.
how to read, but you should want to
Yeah,
like
want to,
read,
yeah.
like because it's gonna be like a lot of reading.
So much reading.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So lastly, I always ask like guests on my show, like what's an advice that helped them, they got, or like they just they learned with experience, or like someone told them that stuck with them that they want to pass on, like just an advice. It could be for academics, or it could be just like personal life advice that they want to give to our viewers, like for all the youngsters out there who either
I think for them, just
We're gonna be watching.
Just continue to do different things. I think, especially, well, I guess nowadays, like I said earlier, you can always go into another career if you want. Just keep trying things. But when you're younger, a lot of people are telling me is like you have so much opportunity then. You know, you're not in the real world yet. So you can really fail as many times as you want. You
Yeah.
do so many different things, and you should be doing so many different things. It's kind of a cliche, but sort of do something that you actually like doing. And I think that the older I get, the more I understand it. The more I'm sitting and showing homes or talking about the law, giving them updates, it's so rewarding for me that I'm helping somebody not only get their goal, but it's also like making financial wealth. And that's what I've realized makes me happy, helping people. And I was able to find a profession that pays you to help people too, so that's great.
Yeah.
But you just find something you actually like. I think that's, and you just, the cliche is, the saying, what they say is find whatever, something along the lines, if you work with what you like, then money will come, right? I think that's true. I think that's.
So you're saying that it's like you should like what you're doing, also like what you're studying, not just like work-wise.
And studying, yeah.
So you should, because
studying's a little bit different, right? So I mean, I like sociology a lot, but I knew I was going to go to law school. But if I was just going to be a sociologist, sure, there's ways to make money, but I think there's like a balance there.
But even like in law school, so like a lot of people want to be lawyers, but they don't like studying law in the sense like they don't like to read a lot. So like you should know that what you're getting yourself into, and like these are the things that I need to go through like academic wise before I actually get into that profession. Because you can, if you want to be a doctor, you should know that you're going to need to learn about like different sciences, and if you don't like any of them or like even one of them, you probably should know that this is not. Or like if you don't like math.
Well, not like the good. There's always, it's not always pretty with whatever you think you're passionate about. Like, there's some downsides to it. Obviously, there's downsides to real estate, but overall, if you're happy, right? You wake up in the morning, you can't wait to go do stuff. That's great. And
don't just like stick to one class. Don't think that it's like, oh, I don't like this class, so I'm not gonna like this major. Maybe it's just that one class you have to get through just to get that degree. But it's like it'll be worth it when you actually like what you're doing. Like how he said that when he wakes up every morning, he's like at it. He's like excited to get to work.
I was actually a year late because I changed my major.
That's okay. Everyone has their own timeline. So I think that's also very important. That's like a lot of people think that like graduating, you have to graduate in 4 years, or you have to get your master's. Like there's no set timelines. Everyone's timelines are different based on like, and sometimes they even change. Like you might go into, and like how you said, you change your major, like, and the timeline increases, and there's nothing wrong with it because like at the end of the day, you reach your goal, which is you're doing what you like. So that's important.
That's the most important thing.
So thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you. Hopefully all this advice helped you, and you were able to choose a career of your choice, whether it's real estate, being an attorney, or whatever else. Hopefully his experiences and what he has shared helped you. Remember, like how he said that do whatever you love, whether it's picking a major and eventually like a career choice, so that you don't wake up every morning with regrets. It's like, I don't want to go to work.
Great.
Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back again next week with another guest. Until then, I'm signing off. Have a good evening.